Honorable Men Discord. Let's talk about the recent takedown of cartel leader El Mencho. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So let's get straight to it. Recently on Sunday, there was a raid that took place in Mexico, and the Mexican, I want to say military, engaged in a shootout with cartel leader El Mencho, which is his nickname. He has a longer name than that, and he was taken out. Now, apparently, the United States had a bounty of $15 million plus on his head, and it was intel that the U.S. provided to the Mexican authorities that allowed them to be able to track him. But let's go into this video, and then we'll talk about it further.
Mencho? That's what Mexican officials are now suggesting. For years, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, was one of the world's most powerful cartel bosses. He led the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most violent and fast-growing criminal networks in the world. He was wanted in the United States with a $15 million reward on his head, but this week, Mexican federal forces located him in Topalpa, Jalisco, and after a fierce shootout, he died from injuries sustained during the operation. But how did they find him? Mexico's defense minister says the intelligence that helped pinpoint his location stemmed from someone he was romantically involved with. Officials have not yet named the person or confirmed the nature or length of the relationship. They also haven't revealed the circumstances in which the information was given, but they are clear that the lead was connected to someone close to him. Meanwhile, attention is also turning to his wife, Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia, known as La Jefa or the Boss. Authorities have previously described her as overseeing the cartel's financial and legal operations, including dozens of businesses linked to the group. She was released early from prison last year for good conduct. Since then, her whereabouts have not been publicly confirmed. The fallout from his death has been immediate. Cartel gunmen torched vehicles, blocked highways, and sparked unrest across multiple states, including in areas preparing to host World Cup matches later this year. So now the questions are mounting. Was this the result of a personal vulnerability, or simply a sophisticated intelligence operation that exploited one? Either way, for a man once described as untouchable, it appears the breakthrough came from someone inside his inner circle. Did a romantic relationship...
Okay. So there's a lot of layers to this. The thing that stood out for me, and I don't know if it stood out for all of you watching, is the authorities got a possible tip from someone he was romantically involved with. All right. And then the other thing is they mentioned that the World Cup is supposed to be had in Mexico. Anyone watching this, please let me know in the comments. I'll fact check myself as well, but I think it's safe to say, well, I guess it's too late to change it. If the World Cup is supposed to be had in Mexico, I think that's a bad idea, especially after this took place. I think that's a bad idea. And if we think it's just going to die out, it's not going to die out. First of all, by no means am I suggesting you do nothing when it comes to cartels and cartel leaders. But the way these things work, you take one out, someone else is going to fill in the spot. This is not going to end. Obviously, the cartel did not like the fact that he was taken out. But trust me when I tell you, someone else is going to step right in. And it's going to continue. You see how they already started burning down gas stations and cars in the street. It won't stop. And if anything, and I'm not wishing this on anyone that participates in or attends, but if they continue to push forward with having the World Cup, I think that's going to be a bad idea. And they better put a delay on the television feed, because we don't know what's going to happen. If anything, I would say the cartel would be salivating at the mouth for an opportunity to make a public demonstration on a world stage like that, like the World Cup. I was unaware of that until watching this video, that the World Cup was taking place this year in Mexico. I will check that out. But if that's true, they need to really reconsider how they're going to approach that. Let me see. Will be jointly hosted by Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Okay, see that makes sense because I could have sworn that I knew that United States was going to have some of the events. So okay, so there you have it. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be jointly hosted by Canada, Mexico, and the United States. I think they need to just cancel Mexico. But what do I know? They'll figure it out. I don't think they've ever encountered something of this magnitude happening before a World Cup. But something's got to give. And we'll find out soon enough. We'll find out soon enough whether or not they're going to still host it in Mexico. But with that being said, I'm not surprised that it was someone he had relations with. He was someone he was. They said, how did they word it? He was intimate or.
Tracked.
Let me see.
Officials are now suggesting. For years, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, was one of the world's most powerful cartel bosses. He led the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, one of the most violent and fast-growing criminal networks in the world. He was wanted in the United States with a $15 million reward on his head. But this week, Mexican federal forces located him in Topalpa, Jalisco, and after a fierce shootout, he died from injuries sustained during the operation. But how did they find him? Mexico's defense minister says the intelligence that helped pinpoint his location stemmed from someone he was romantically involved with. Officials have not.
That's what I was looking for. So someone he was romantically involved with. Listen, when these things come up on the news or come up on social media platforms, don't just watch it at surface. Don't just watch it for what it is at a surface level. Take notes. So those of you that dibble and dabble with illegal activity and legal activity, you're not going to get away with it. All right? You're not going to get away with it. If this country could snatch a sitting president from Venezuela along with his wife in the middle of the night using Delta Force or whatever branch they used, if this country can do that, and then I want to say weeks later, not even a month later, they cooperate with the Mexican authorities, or they give them intel along with whoever he was romantically involved with, and they track this man down, and he gets involved in a shootout and he doesn't make it. You're not going to get away with anything that you're doing, all right? So just forget about illegal activity altogether. Aside from the fact that it's not something that's worth getting into, I wouldn't promote it anyway. Any illegal activity, I wouldn't promote it. But just use that as a takeaway. Forget about it. Use your intelligence for something else. You could just forget about it. This is a takedown of all illegal activity going on right now. And whether we want to credit President Trump for it or not, it's going on whilst he's a sitting president. All right. And is there a deeper meaning behind all this? Is there an ulterior motive behind all this? I don't know if there's an ulterior motive behind all this, but we're seeing it in real time. It's still pretty much the first quarter of 2026, and there's a lot of activity going on in this world. All right. And I don't know whether or not we could say, oh, it's because of the president, or these things are just going on and he's being active about it. He's being proactive about it. I don't know what to define it as, the cause of why all of these things are going on, but it's going on. All right. And for those of you that love Mexico, I've been to Mexico once before. Don't even think about it. All right. Just for your own safety, don't even think about it. Don't plan to go over there. When I was putting this video together, I saw a clip of a gentleman saying he's in Cancun right now and it's business as usual. Nothing's going on. He said the only thing he noticed was more military presence. I wouldn't even go by that, because one person's experience during the time that they went is not the same as another. So he might be able to go out to Mexico at this time. I don't know why he decided to do so. Maybe he pre-planned this. Maybe it was a trip that was planned in advance and this took place and he still went. I don't suggest that for everyone. But everyone is entitled to do as they please as adults. But why would you want to go to Mexico after seeing something like this? Again, yes, they took out El Mencho, but that doesn't mean the rest of the people that are in the cartel are just going to sit down and just put the guns down. All right? And you can't predict how cartels move. So they may be burning objects right now, burning gas stations and cars, but you don't know when they're gonna decide to amp it, turn things up. They might decide to turn things up. You don't know that. Why take that chance? There's other destinations you can go to. But listen, as far as El Mencho's concerned, when you're behind a cartel, when you're behind trafficking, your days are numbered. All right, he had to know that. Anytime you're living an illegal lifestyle, you got to know your days are numbered. No one has the foolproof plan to do criminal activities for a long period of time. No one. I don't care who it is. And if there is someone who has a successful story of being a criminal, they represent a very extremely small percentage of those that made it out successfully. And that's if they chose to make it out. Because some of them, once you get a taste of that lifestyle, you don't know how to get out. And the only way you get out is prison or death. So it's not worth it. But that's all I have on this. Again, if you were planning on going to Mexico for the summertime, I suggest you don't do it. The thing that I'm going to be looking out for is whether or not they continue to have the World Cup at Mexico. And if they do, I'm going to be paying attention to what they put in place to make sure everyone that goes there to visit or to attend the World Cup is safe. Because if I had tickets for the World Cup in Mexico, I'm looking to change that out. I'll be honest with you. I want my money back. I'll go to Canada. I'll try to see if I can get tickets for Canada or here in the United States. But I would not go to Mexico. Not after this happened. But that's just me. What's your thoughts on all of this? As always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, on your way out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend or colleague. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, when you come here, when you watch the videos, please jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I want you to engage. This is not just about me showing up on camera, speaking my thoughts. This is for engagement, regardless if you disagree with anything that I say on my episodes. But as always, stay honorable.